be talking with Claudia, who was with us at MBA Center last year and has been accepted to London Business School for an MIM program. And she, okay, why am I talking? Claudia, please, could you introduce yourself to all
Yeah.
these people
Okay,
here?
don't worry. Yeah, so last year I actually applied to several schools, LSE, Imperial, and London Business School, and I accepted in all three of them. But of course, my first option was London Business. And yeah, so I will be starting the MIM on Monday, well, on Tuesday, and I will arrive to London on Monday. So now I am doing like the pre-program courses that we have online before arrival. And yes, so to present a little bit about myself, I did a double degree in business administration and international relations in Madrid, in Universidad Pontificia Comillas. Um, and then I've been doing, for the last year, I've been working in strategy in Center. That's a consulting and strategy company. So I've been doing part-time my work and my studies at my university. And then, yeah, and I'm free to answer all of your questions. So please tell me.
Okay. By the time they ask some questions, let me start off with the basics.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
why an MIM at this early stage in your career? As you just said, you've just finished your bachelor's degree in
Mhm.
a BBA and an international relations degree. So, why an MIM so early? Because as far as we know, many people wait for a few
Mhm.
years to gain some experience before doing it. So,
Yeah, so for me it was kind of a difficult decision, and I was like during all year talking to Uber, like what should I do, etc. Because in Accenture they offered me a position to start now in September. So I was kind of like, should I like just go straight to work or should I continue studying? Um, but I think that with an MIM, like in university, we've seen a lot of theory, etc. But I think that with the MIM, I will see a lot of more. I don't know, like I will be next to experts because in London Business they have the best teachers. Of course, the community they build, the people I'm going to meet. So it was more like, okay, I have all my life to work, and um, I can make the best of this year to get to know new people, to be in London. That's an amazing opportunity for job opportunities, to meet new people, and yeah, to learn even more about business management, because I think that with the teachers and the classes and everything that they offer, of course I'm going to learn a lot.
okay, if I understand correctly, this MIM is a year-long program. Am I right?
Sorry.
Is this 1 year long program?
Yeah, so
MIM.
it's a 12-month
Uh-huh.
program with the option of 18 months. I think it depends on the internships or the exchanges you choose, but normally it's 12 months. So yeah, 1 year.
All right. So
Mm.
another question that I have is, you've chosen London Business School. Okay.
Yeah.
So um, what about internships? What were you thinking about
Mm.
when you chose London Business School? Like there are other schools in Europe
Mm.
itself that offer MIMs, right? Why London Business School?
Yes. So of course, yeah. As I told you, I had like the three options. I had Imperial, LSE, and London Business School, and of course, three of them are really good schools, and they are in the top in England. So, but I think that London Business School, for example, for me, I'm really interested in fashion and the luxury industry, and seeing the companies they have contact with, or the teachers we have in that matter, or the program, and I saw that they could really help me with this path in my career with the fashion and luxury industry. So maybe other students should think about what are their preferences and see if this school is the best for what they want. I know that, for example, London Business is also very good and very oriented for consulting. um, and now I've only been 1 week of masters, and we've already had like a lot of webinars with consulting companies, etc. So yeah, for me it was because of the opportunity they offered me for consulting and luxury and fashion industry. But I think that every student has to see which is their preference and the path they want to take, and see which school offers the best opportunities.
All right. Um, Let me just ask you before I go further. Where did you do your internships for our for
Yeah.
the people here? So yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of have a lot of internships since I was very young. When I was in school, I worked for Sony Pictures and Starbucks, and both were in the marketing department. So it was kind of a 1 month internship, but I got to learn a lot about marketing and the basics about it. And of course, in two companies that are like international companies and very big companies. Um, so you get to meet a lot of people, and it was a very good experience. But then, like more official ones, I worked in my first year of university. I worked for Accenture for 2 months in a consulting project for Vodafone. And then I worked for Hugo Boss. That's it's a fashion company, a German fashion company, and I was there for 3 months. And I worked in the marketing department and also in the sales department during these 3 months. For the next year, so in my third year of university, I went to Italy. Um, because I wanted to have like an international internship. So I went to Italy and also to a fashion company. So I went to its headquarters in Bologna, that's a city in Italy. And I was also in the marketing and sales department. And then my last and biggest internship, and the one that I've liked the most, was the last one I did in Accenture in digital strategy. And I've been there for 1 year and 4 months. So it's been kind of a big
The
experience.
longest. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, for example, in Accenture, for example, I started in consulting. um, and yeah, I liked consulting, but my boss, he told me like, maybe you should try digital strategy, because I think you're kind of a very creative person and you like technology and everything, and you've already worked in digital marketing in other companies, so you should try this other department in Accenture.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Um, so for the people who are listening in, you are free to ask us questions in the chat box, which I will put to Claudia.
Yeah,
So the
and
first question, yeah.
one thing I should say about the internships is that, for example, in London Business Schools, in all the interviews and in all the process, they were very interested in my internships in Accenture. And as I'm saying, in any consulting or strategy company, they are very interested if you have this type of experiences.
Okay. I think I'll actually come back to your question later. Sorry, this thing later. Till then, let's answer Naveen's questions. How do you pick between, say, consulting versus sales and marketing, given both are one's interest?
When for my last internship.
No, no. He's asking a question. I think it's
Uh-huh.
something that relates to him. So, how do you pick between consulting or
Uh-huh.
sales and marketing, given
Okay.
both are one's interest?
Yeah, so I've been in both of them, and I think they can look very different, but they're not that different. Because in consulting, you have a, a lot of projects for very different companies and with different objectives. So in Accenture, I've been in projects, in consulting projects, where we have to consult and advise about a company's sales. So I think that sales and marketing, maybe it's more specific, because you go to a company and you only do that. You only do sales and marketing. And in consulting, you get to look at a lot of different companies and a lot of different things you can do. So I think my advice would be to first try consulting, because there you can see which industries do you like. For example, if you like communications or fashion or whatever. So you get to see all of the industries and all of the kind of problems that the companies get to face. And then if you see that you actually are interested in marketing and sales, then you can go to, like, you can be more specifically in this department. But my advice would be to first try consulting, because in my experience, it is in the place where you get to learn the most, because of all the opportunities you get to have at the same time.
Okay. Karsten has a question. As probably a lot of people from consulting or strategy background apply for LBS MIMs, what do you think was your USP and set you apart?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, during the process, I've seen that almost everyone had like a background in consulting and strategy, and even they've tried more than one strategy company and consulting company. But for me, I think, of course, they were very interested about all my internships, because they said that I've started working since a young age. So they told me, like, talk to me about how you felt when you were so young and you started in a company, etc. They also thought that I was like very versatile. Yeah, I don't know in English. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you've worked in fashion companies, you've worked in Starbucks, and you've worked in a consulting company. So um, I had like very different experiences at once. And the thing that they liked about me the most, I think, were my languages, because I've had so many international experiences, and I've lived in Italy, so I speak Italian. I've been to a French school, so I speak French, and I speak English and Spanish, of course. So they were always asking me about how learning these four languages and having all of my international experiences could help the LBS community. How could I help to the LBS community? And of course, as it is a very international community, they like that about me. And yeah, so I've done two exchange years during my studies. One in Rome and the other one in Milan. So both of them in Italy.
Okay. Naveen, who asked the previous question, says, thank you for the
Yeah.
detailed answer. Claudia has internships in her bag already. How do we fill that void of very few internships? Say zero in my case. So, how do you fill that? He
Okay.
asks. Is there any
Yeah.
shortcut to
So
it?
so Naveen, you have, of course, 1 year, because you will be applying now, and you have all of this year to, I don't know, maybe now with COVID and everything, it's a very difficult time to find internships. I don't know. And there's also, for example, in the application process, there is a question that they tell you, what will you do from now on until you get to LBS. So there, for example, if you have an internship planned, you could tell them about that. I don't know, like, for example, I think I don't have so many experiences in my bag, so I would love, in this time until I join LBS, I would love to find an internship. I don't know, that's an idea that pops into my head, but um, it's not all about the internships, of course, in your profile. But I think that it is something that almost every applicant has. So maybe, yeah, one experience, because also then in the interviews they ask you about your experiences, etc. So I think that you should have at least one experience in your bag. So yeah, if you could try in this year to fill in that gap, or maybe not an internship as it is like in a company, but you could tell them, I don't know, I volunteered for whatever, because it was so difficult to find an internship in these COVID times. I don't know. But yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next question I think will come from my side. We are coming now to the application process. Okay, what is your take
Yeah.
on extracurricular activities? Like, how will they help the student crack the
Mm-hmm.
code into an MIM classroom? Because we know we have been said extracurriculars are very important. Now, what exactly
Yeah.
is this?
Yes. So there are several questions about your extracurricular activities and your hobbies and everything. So in my case, for example, I've seen that there was a lot of people, for example, who played an instrument or had like this kind of hobbies. For me, it was sports. So I talked about I like to play golf. I like to play tennis. Once I participated in this championship, etc. So yeah, you have to make the best of your extracurricular activities, but they also want to see like your character, like the person you are, not only I do this, I do that. Like I don't know. You have to give like the application a personal turn. Like I play golf because I love how I am surrounded by people. I don't know, because I'm a very extrovert person or something like that. But what they told me is that it's not only about the so many things you do um, after you're studying or working, but how they help you grow and learn, and how this can help to the LBS community, of course. That's what they really want. So you have to think of the really relevant things that could be helpful to them. For example, for me, for example, I've seen that they had a golf club in LBS and a sailing club, and as they are two of my hobbies. I told them like I would love, for example, to join the golf club and the sailing club, if possible. So yeah, you have to look, of course, at the program, at the clubs they have, and try to like match your profile with their profile.
Okay. So, okay, we have
Uh,
another question.
yeah.
How relevant, I think, how relevant would it be to show a non-management experience in your application? Claudia has bachelor's degree in business administration and international relations, whereas I have a bachelor's in civil engineering. So my experiences revolve around civil. I am switching to management through MIM. Okay, how irrelevant
Okay.
would it be? So,
No,
yeah.
I don't think it would be relevant. Of course, they look for very different profiles. So maybe you have already like this positive thing that you're not like more than half of the applicants we were business administration students. So here you will be showing if you have business experiences in civil engineering, you will show them that you know how a company works because you've been in companies, maybe not in management and marketing or whatever, but you know how a company works because you've been in companies. You know how to be in a project because you've been in this project, maybe even if it wasn't about marketing or about business. You know how to how to work with other people because you've done this in your internship. So I don't think it is irrelevant at all, and you should talk about all of your experiences. I tell them about my fashion experiences, and they loved it. They love them. So no, I think that you should talk about everything in your profile. It is not irrelevant because it is an experience in a company, so it is relevant, of course. But yeah, that's what you should highlight is that you've learned how to work with others, you've learned how the company works, you've learned and all of this. And also, there is a question about what the MIM is going to like. What don't you have now that the MIM is going to give you? And for you, it's going to be very obvious. You have to tell them about I have an engineer background, and it is the MIM the thing that is going to give me everything about business and management. So I don't think it is irrelevant.
Okay. Um, Okay, please keep posting your questions. Till then, I will also fill in with my questions. Okay, so since you said that the classes have already started, right? Even though it's online.
Yeah.
So how are your experiences? So how have your experiences been so far? I know it's only a week, but still.
Yeah. No. So what we've done so far are like the pre-program courses. And what I know of, I have friends who've done the same master last year, and the pre-program courses are always online. Even COVID or no COVID, these pre-program courses are always online. So they are like, you don't have to connect with teachers or anything. You just have to like to follow a course and watch some lectures and then do a final quiz. Um, and they are, for example, accounting basics or finance basics, etc. And I don't think they were difficult at all. You have to pass them to be able to go into the courses, but if you've been in university, you shouldn't have any problem. Maybe, for example, Naveen, you should look at something about accounting if you've never done accounting because you've studied engineering, but they are not difficult at all. And for example, one thing that I liked that they've done, they put you into student groups. So you're with other 5 students, so groups of 6, I think. Yeah. And they send you like, you are in study group 18 and you're with these people. So now you have their names, you get in touch with them and you add them to Facebook, whatever. And in my case, for example, we made a group, a WhatsApp group, and then even if you're not in class, you talk to them and you chat about the courses and everything.
Okay.
So that's good, because if not, with the online experience, it would be difficult to meet people. And but they are
So
always
yeah.
yeah, sorry.
No,
No,
no, I
I
was
was
just
going to say that they always organize like online events and everything. So
so my question was, as let's say a graduate in social sciences who gets into an MIM, or a graduate in engineering, so this pre-program courses are a necessity for them. They have
yeah.
to sit through them, or is it for everybody?
No, it's for everybody. Like, you mean, is it for me because I've studied
No, no, I'm asking in general for engineering students, students from
yeah, it's for
humanities background.
everyone. It's for
Okay.
everyone who is doing an MIM. That's why I was saying that maybe if you come from another background, you should look at, well, no, but it's a course. So you have everything you need for the quiz, you have it on the course. The thing is
Okay.
that they offer you, if you have already if you know already these things, they offer you to skip the course and just go to the quiz.
All
And
right.
that's what I've done. But if you know nothing about accounting or finance, you have like the course um, very explained, and so they are not difficult at all. And you have to pass with half of the mark, so
Okay.
it's easy.
Okay. Um, so, how have the interactions with your peers been? Since I cannot ask you how have the
Yeah.
classes been, or how the interaction with the faculty. At least, what is the interaction with the students that are in your group?
Yeah, well, I have like my study group, but also they've created like a big MIM LBS chat. So there I get to meet like everyone who is in the MIM. Um, there is no other Spanish people, I think, for the moment. I haven't met anyone. So yeah, I've met French people, Italian people, Chinese people, yeah, everyone from all around the world. Um, and it's been like everyone is very friendly, and everyone is in we are in the same situation, like thinking we cannot meet in class for the moment because classes will begin in the campus on the 21st of September. So we'll see, but we think that we will go like to class in person on the 21st of September. But yeah, everyone is in the same situation. Like, I have to meet people online, so everyone is very friendly, and I get a lot of messages like, "I'm going to be with you in the MIM. I hope to meet you once you arrive to London." So even if we don't go to class, everyone is organizing like events, and and things for us to meet somehow.
All right. Okay, Naveen has another question. How important are, say, knowledge of computer languages or coding to sustain in class? Does zero knowledge of these languages coding, is it still fine? Does the
Yeah,
market
sorry.
demand, okay, there are two questions I think. Is
Hmm.
zero knowledge of languages and coding fine for the classes? And I think the
Hmm.
second question is, does the market demand these skills post MIM at LBS?
Yeah. Okay. So for the first question, no, you don't need any computer language at all or coding. Um, there is a pre-program course that's about Excel fundamentals. So it's just about Excel, like how to use Excel and how to do formulas and everything. But once again, it is like a very explained course, step to step. So if you don't know anything about Excel, you learn it there. And there's also one pre-program course about data analytics and that they call the data camp, but it's due for the 15th, so I haven't done that already. But what I've seen, it doesn't seem difficult. It's just like they tell you you have to download this and you have to go step by step doing this. So no, you don't need any like knowledge on computer coding, because
Oh,
think that it is a management and business masters, so they know that we are not like engineers or data experts, so we will learn that in the masters,
okay.
I think.
The second part of the question, do you think the
Hmm.
market demand for these skills is gonna come up?
Yeah, okay, so I think they do, but I in my last internship I was a digital analyst. So I was all day in contact with these tools and with this language and everything. And yeah, I think companies were really interested about this of my profile, and also in LBS. And half of my interview was about how did I learn to use them, how did I use them in my daily life and in my work. So yeah, of course now everything is online, everything is digital, so having this kind of knowledge is a plus, but I don't think you need it. Of course it is a plus nowadays because we all know that everything is digital, but I don't think you need coding that like a necessity on your profile. But yeah, I what I've seen about the courses we have and everything, I think we will learn also about that in more depth in LBS with the MIM. There is a data course, so even if you don't know about coding and data, we will learn about it on the master.
Okay. So the next question is from Carsten Willer.
Mhm.
How did you decide between MIM and MBA? Was there any point where you thought about waiting maybe another year and then going for an MBA?
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, of course, I had to make the decision between the MBA and the MIM, and of course because I had like the job offer, so I was like, should I work some years and then do the MBA? But what made me take the decision of following the MIM was that I looked at the programs of both of them, and they were actually kind of the same. So I thought that I wanted to. I've just finished my studies, so I was like, if I stop studying for 3 years or 4 years and then go back to studying, it's going to be like kind of a shock for me. So I prefer like continuing all of my studies together and then going into the business world um, for once. And yeah, the thing is that I saw that the programs weren't as different, they were the same, like they were about business management. And so the difference was I don't know, maybe the expertise they demand, because of course if you've been working for 5 years, it's not the same that going straight from university to a master. But for me, the question was, will I be ready to study again once I've been working for 4 years or whatever, or should I prefer like going now straight to my studies and having like in mind what I've learned in university, and then yeah.
Okay. So now we are coming to the GMAT part of it, because we have a
Mm-hmm.
question from Naveen that says, colleges ask for both GRE and GMAT scores. What is your take on what is safe to submit to the school? And what do you think would be a safe score for both GRE and GMAT?
Yes. So, in my opinion, LBS prefers GMAT because it's more business oriented and management oriented. Um, and I don't know about the GRE because I haven't done it or tried it or anything. But yeah, I think that they prefer the GMAT. So if you see that you are able to get a good GMAT, do the GMAT. And if you see that the GMAT is not for you, maybe you can try the GRE, and it would be better to have a good GRE than never get to do a good GMAT. So that's a question you should do, and during the process you will see if you are capable of doing the GMAT or not, and then maybe you can switch to the GRE. But I think that they prefer the GMAT. Um, and what do you think would be
What
a
do you
safe
think would be
score?
a safe
Yeah.
score?
So you're only for LBS, right? Or in general?
I think for now we'll
Well,
talk about LBS.
yeah. In LBS, of course, they have students with very good GMAT scores. So around 670 and 700 would be like their their average GMAT is 700, I think, or a 670 or something. So yeah, it's a very high score, but you can you can reach it
Also,
with no problem.
also
Mhm.
knowing the fact that there is a lot of diversity thing and all that, and there are a lot of Indians in the pool, I think it's
Mhm.
better to get a 700 for
Yeah.
LBS.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, because whatever,
LBS.
every time I've worked with students, that's what I have been said. Like, if we don't get
Mm.
a 700, there's no chance for us.
Yeah, of course, it's not if you don't get
Not
a
easy.
700, but yeah, if you have a 700 and kind of a good profile, I think you're good. The 700, it's like the security for you to get in. And then if you have a lower score, you should work in other parts of your profile, like I had to do.
Okay. So, since you were working with Accenture while you were
Hmm.
preparing, so how was your GMAT journey? I understand GMAT is not easy for anybody. The six
No.
hundred, seven
Mhm.
hundred score is not easy. So, working and then GMAT, how did you mesh it up?
Yeah, so I am always saying that last year was like the most difficult year of my life, but now that I see it, it wasn't that difficult. But yeah, it was like I had to go to university in the morning, then in the afternoon to work, and I ended working like at 12 in the afternoon or 11. So I arrived home like super tired, and it was like, yeah, but you have to study for the GMAT. um, so I worked on it a lot on the weekends, but I tried to every day at least to do at least one exercise, because like the work for the GMAT is like really constant, and there are so many types of exercises and formulas and everything, and little tricks you have to learn, that you have to be like every day thinking about the GMAT a little bit, until you do it. And so my advice would be it is better to start, for example, now in September, and do it little by little than saying in January, like I will do the GMAT next month. and I'm going to do an intensive month and pass the GMAT. I don't think that is the best idea because you will find yourself like really stressed, and also the dates for the GMAT are limited. So there is like one GMAT a month, and you have to be like very precise about all of this because then you have to submit your application and you need the GMAT. So and of course with your first GMAT, the most normal thing is that you don't have the score you want. Like you have to take the exam 2 or 3 times or 4 times until you have the score you wish for. And of course, if you are aiming for a 700 more, so my advice would be to start now in September, little by little, and to do one exercise a day. Um, and yeah.
Okay. So Diane has actually asked this question after we started talking about it. How long did you work
Mhm.
every week for your GMAT, and how many months? So maybe even that.
Yes. So yeah, I started preparing for it in October, I think. And yeah, but of course the first months I wasn't like that into the exam. It was more, there are also a lot of things you have to learn about how it works, the exam, because the exam is not only about knowing about maths or English, um, but knowing about how to do the exam, like how to manage your time and everything. So the first months would be about refreshing your formulas, your English, and everything, and then the last months have to be to really exercise, do mock exams, and yeah, and I don't know, like I have to do this exercise in 1 minute, and you have to do it. Like it's more of a strategy for the exam you have to learn, um, because I think that we all know English, and we all know maths because we've been to university. But this exam is very different to anything that, for example, me that I've done before.
Okay. Diane answers, okay, I'm currently in the first month and it's really hard. Thank you for
Yeah.
your answers.
Good luck.
Okay. We'll come back to the previous question by Naveen. Okay. How do you choose between a generalistic master's, say MIM, versus a specialized one, say masters in marketing, given one is interested in marketing? Is it fair to say that one is cutting down his job opportunities when he takes a specialized one over a general degree?
Yes, I also had to think about this because, as I told you, I am very interested in fashion and the luxury industry. And in London or Milan or even Spain, um, there are a lot of good universities which offer programs and masters about fashion and um, and the luxury industry. But it's what I told you when I looked at the uh, MIM and London Business Program. I saw that I could actually be really in contact with the fashion industry because there are also some elective course you can choose, and there is a luxury management one. There is a fashion one. There is a fashion strategy, I think they call it, or something like that. So I saw like I'm going to get like the general management mind, and then when I can choose to be specific and to specify in the fashion and luxury industry. So if you are interested in marketing, you can choose your electives about marketing, of course, and you can join the marketing society. You can be in contact with marketing companies. I don't know, but I thought that the management part is always important, even if you are doing marketing, sales. And I've seen this in my internships. So I was like, I'm going to have both of the worlds, like the management world and the fashion world if I want, or the consulting world, whatever you are interested in. So I think that's one another positive thing about the MIM, that you can actually model it towards your preferences and choose your electives and etc.
Okay. That way, Naveen has another question. Why would any fashion company pick an MIM student over a student who just did a master's in fashion management for the same duration?
Yeah, I hope they do, but I think no, maybe they wouldn't, but um, in my case, I'm not interested about the creative part of fashion. For example, I don't want to be a designer or um, so if I want to be in the management part of the company or in the marketing department, maybe I would have more experience because I know about how all companies work, and I have like a more general vision, and I can offer them more insights than a person who has just done a fashion master. I don't know. And also, what I've seen about the fashion masters is that they are very centered in the creative part of the fashion world. So I thought I'm not interested about being super creative or being a designer. So I would be in the management part of the company. So why not?
Okay. Naveen says, perfect. Thank you. I think we are nearing the end. So we will just take a few more questions from the people who want to ask any other questions, and I'll ask you a few more. So,
Mm-hmm.
regarding the financing,
Yeah.
what is your take on scholarships? Is it easy to get a scholarship from LBS, or is it very difficult, or what was your experience?
Yeah, so I don't have an internship of any kind, but my problem was that I applied on the last round of applications, and to be able to be considered for the internships, you had to apply on the first or second round. So
You
look
mean
at that
scholarships?
for the scholarships. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I also got confused. Yeah.
yeah. So you have to apply in some of the rounds. I don't know. So look at that because it's important. Then you cannot be considered for a scholarship. Um, so that was my problem, and now I was like looking for internships, and it was kind of difficult if you don't do it next to your application, because they were like I don't know, for people with problems, with financial problems, etc. So if you want like a general scholarship, you should do it with your application and apply for a scholarship. And the problem is that you have to apply like really early. So I think that before Christmas or something like that. But I don't think it is difficult to get a scholarship because I know a lot of my colleagues from the MIM, and they entered with a scholarship. So it shouldn't be very difficult if you have like average marks and a good profile. I think it shouldn't be that difficult. And of
Okay.
course, Ubert,
Yeah.
and they helped a lot of students of the MBA Center last year to get a scholarship. So
Okay, let's talk a bit. I know it's a little self-serving, but let's talk a little
mhm.
about MBA Center. Um, you worked with MBA Center for your GMAT or just for your applications?
Yeah, I connected with Ubert to the weekend sessions every weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, and they were very helpful. So I wasn't like in a daily basis working on my GMAT with you, but yeah, for example, every weekend I connected with Ubert, and we went through, like, he sent us a GMAT example, and then on the weekends we corrected it with him, and he explained like every answer, every question. So that was very useful because, as I told you, yeah, Ubert silly. Yeah. And as I told you, the GMAT is a lot about doing exercises, and and seeing the theory you are learning like applied. So actually having the opportunity to have real exams and correcting them with someone who knew how to do them. Because another thing that is difficult about the GMAT is having access to real questions of the GMAT. Because you can go into the internet and look for GMAT questions, but they are not really the questions that you after have on the real exam. So, for example, with MBA Center, I got access to a lot of GMAT real questions, and I think that that was a really good thing for me.
Okay. So Anik
Yeah, and then
has,
in my
yeah.
application, sorry,
No, no, go on.
yeah, and in my application, I worked. I did my application. I worked with MBA Center for the interview, and that was
Okay.
also very helpful.
Al- Also, the applications, I guess, the essays and the
Not
letters, I
not
guess.
everything about my application, but then I was like more intensively working with you for the interviews.
All right, all
So
right.
if you want me to talk about my experience with interviews, or
Oh, 1 minute. Okay,
no, okay.
1 minute. There's another person here says, "Hi Claudia, hi Karishma, thanks for the invite." So Anik, hi, and we're actually almost at the end of the program. So if you have any questions, you can just type them out, and Claudia will answer them for you before we leave, I guess. So yeah, we can. Sorry, I just wanted to get that across to him so
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, of course.
So yeah, regarding the interviews, okay, let's talk about the interviews at
Yeah,
LBS.
and yeah,
How,
my
yeah, your interviews at LBS, the finals, not the preparation round.
yeah,
Uh,
no.
that question is coming here also. What were some interesting questions asked at the LBS interview, or what were the trick questions that were asked? Something like that. Something you remember
Yeah,
from your interviews.
yeah, so if you work with MBA Center and with Ubert, you will get a lot of these questions because he has also access to a lot of these questions, and you kind of are really prepared before the interview because you know kind of what you're going to be asked for. Um, and there are two options. You can be interviewed by someone in admissions from LBS or by an alumni. So I was interviewed by an alumni, and what I've heard is that, of course, if you're interviewed by someone in admissions, it's kind of more of a formal interview, because with alumni, it's like if me in 1 year I am interviewing one of you, so it's more like informal kind of interview. But they have like some mandatory questions they have to ask you. So maybe if the person is more informal or formal, the questions are the questions. And they were first of all about me, like tell us something about yourself, about your background, etc. It's 1 hour interview, so of course you get to go through all of your profile and um, and yeah. So the first part of the interview, it's kind of tell us something about yourself. Why do you want to choose the meme? What is LBS going to offer for you, to offer to you? They have your application before the interview, so if they see that there is something interesting about your application that they would like to know more about it, they will ask you about that. For example, they ask me all the time about my internships and how that had helped me to grow my profile, my business profile, etc. So it is a person that is like really invested in your interview and has read your application before and your profile. Like they know everything about you, so they are going. It's really modeled to your profile. So they will ask you things that they think are interesting about what they've seen in your application. And then yeah, general questions about why do you want to choose the meme, the MIM, why do you want to choose LBS. Even I think they asked me why London also. And at the end they are more of like culture and economics questions, but it's more like a chat. It's not like an exam. They ask you like, what do you think about um, for me, it was what do you think about the COVID, of course, and how um, are they managing the situation in your country. So it was more like, what do you think about it, and let's chat about it. And it was very chill. So
Okay. So, Mr. Anik has a question now for Claudia. So, Claudia, I have two IIM degrees. IIM is Indian Institute of Management.
Oh,
So,
okay.
basically, he has two management degrees. Would a master's in international management really be for me? As I believe an executive MBA would be more for me. So, IIM degree,
Um, hmm.
two management degrees
It's like
plus an
mine, no?
international management. Yeah.
IIM. It's like a BA in business administration, no? It's like
It's IIM. I think what he is talking about is a management degree because in
okay.
India we
Hmm.
have these.
Okay.
Okay, it's similar to MIM. Yeah.
Yeah. If
So
you've already done um a thing similar to MIM, of course, I think the executive MBA would be better for you. But I think you should for this kind of master you have to have a lot of business experience and internships, right?
yeah,
So maybe
true,
you
true.
should look at that because I think that for the executive MBA, you need a lot of business experience, like 4 years in a company or something like that.
I think it's 8 years, something like that.
8. Okay.
If I don't know. That's what
Yeah, it's.
it
I think I
just
know it's a
strikes my
lot of.
head somewhere that it is eight.
Yeah, I don't know how many, but I know they are a lot of
Yeah.
working experience years. So look at that.
So basically, he says he has executive masters in
Ah,
strategy
so you
from
already
the
have a
IIM
master.
Kashipur
Hmm.
and an MBA from Indian Institute of Management Ahmedabad. But that is the
Yeah,
best city
so
school in India.
you
So
shouldn't do the MIM then because you already
yeah,
have like a step forward than the
yeah.
MIM. So
And he has 13 plus years as an
ah,
associate director. So I think,
yeah,
yeah,
then
executive MBA.
executive MBA. Yeah, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
there's no thing about it. So, unless anyone else has any other questions, I am asking the last one.
Hmm.
That is basically Claudia's advice to all people applying for the LBS MIM.
Yeah. So as I said, for the GMAT, my advice would be to be like very constant on your application and on the process. Like you have to be. This is a year that it's going to be kind of difficult and stressful, but then you have a good reward, I think. So you have to be like very constant. Always be thinking of what can I do that is going to upgrade my application. Um, how can I work on my GMAT every day, etc. So you have to be like very constant and also very organized to be able to, because some of you will be in your last year of university, I imagine. So you also have to graduate. You have to do your GMAT, your application. So my general advice is to start like early, be constant, and don't do it like in 2 months rushing because it won't be the same and you won't be as specific and as inspired for your application as you need to be. So start now working on your GMAT because it's kind of 50% of your application. So start now with the GMAT and then later on you can start on your application. But also think about the things that you need to do that you don't have and you need to have for your application. For example, as I think it was Naveen said about the internships, if you think you need an internship, think about doing one now. If you think you don't have enough like languages, like you need your TOEFL, for example, do it. So the first thing you need to do is go into the LBS page and the MIM page and see what do I need, what don't I have, and start like little by little.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Claudia, for everything and
Hmm.
for answering all our questions, whatever they were.
Yeah,
And all the best for your classes. That are you're joining in September. You said September
yeah, on
twenty
the on
first. You're
one,
going to London.
yeah, hmm,
Okay.
and on
All
the
the best
first.
and yeah.
Thank you very
So yeah.
much. I'm
Thank you
glad to
so
help.
much.
If
Okay.
and if
See you
anyone
around. Take care.
has any more questions, you can give them my mail or my LinkedIn or whatever,
Of
so
course.
they
Of
can ask
course.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in case anybody needs it, so since
I
Claudia
can
has
write it
approved
here.
of it,
Right?
yeah. You can send it to us and we'll forward it to her, or we'll forward you her details if you ask us, I guess.
So that's
Or,
my email,
oh,
and
she's given it to you herself. So there you have it. Okay.
LinkedIn, that's my name.
Thank you, Claudia.
Okay, thank you
And
everyone.
all the
Bye.
best.
Have a nice day. Ciao.
Okay. Bye bye. You too.